Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. This video is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, make your own decisions. All right, guys, welcome back. Important video, a lot of things to go over. It is going to take me a while to get through everything, but I would recommend watching the entire video because most of the major takeaways are in the second half of the video. I just have to go through my progression first. So I'm going to walk you through the 3 or 4 hours that I looked into this, screenshot by screenshot, step by step. And it all started with this post from Dominic that came out yesterday. And I immediately had a million questions after I saw this. So it says Origyn Tech forging partnerships that will see it track tens of millions of diamonds and physical gold on the internet computer. Now, we've been over the physical gold portion of this numerous times on the channel, but I had never seen anything about Origyn working with any diamond companies or putting diamonds on the blockchain. Like I'd never seen anything. So I thought I had just missed a partnership or some development that happened. So I had to learn more. And so I clicked on this article. And unfortunately for me, it was all in Spanish. So this is the beginning of the article. And these are the first 2 paragraphs of the article. Now, after these 2 paragraphs, it goes on to talk about Metalore, the partnership there, and then a different partnership that Origyn has with like a smaller tech company that also tracks diamonds on the blockchain. But in my opinion, the meat and potatoes of the article is right here. And so I was away from my computer at the time, and so I wanted to see if I could copy and paste this into Google Translator from my phone, and I could. And so I'm going to read you what Google Translator told me this article said. The announcement is not yet official, very important part of this. But Origyn confirms to Balan, which is the media outlet that put out the article, the signature of one of the largest diamond certification bodies among the 3 world leaders for an expected volume of several tens of millions of annual certificates, according to Vincent Perriard, co-founder. And I might have mispronounced his name, but this is one of the co-founders of Origyn. He's a pretty sharp guy too. I listened to one of his talks last night. This is the most significant partnership in terms of volume of the, I'm going to call this Origyn Foundation because this is the city that Origyn is in. And I guess this is just how they referred to Origyn in the article. So I'm just going to replace the name of the city with Origyn. This is the most significant partnership in terms of volume of the Origyn Foundation since its creation in 2019, concluded after 14 months of validation process between Origyn and the United States. The name has not yet been communicated to this day. Now, I had to read this about 3 or 4 different times to try to interpret what they were actually saying, because it says concluded after 14 months of validation process between Origyn and the United States. Now, see, I didn't know if that was just Origyn was trying to get licensed to operate as a legal entity within the United States, or if that meant that Origyn was talking to a diamond certification body in the United States. And that's what it meant. So I think that it means that Origyn was talking with a diamond certification body for 14 months, and they were in the United States. That's how I interpret it, but I could be wrong about that. All right, so if we just use process of elimination. Now let me pause really quick before I go any further. Assuming this is true, which I'm not saying it definitively is, obviously we only know what we're told, right? But assuming this is true, regardless of which diamond certification body it is, this is a very, very, very big deal. Okay. If it's one of the larger diamond certification bodies, this is a huge deal. All right. So just want to make that point. Now, I wanted to try to narrow down which one it was, because we know a few things just based on the article. We know that it's a diamond certification body for one. And we know that it's one of the larger diamond certification bodies because it says among the 3 world leaders. But for the sake of just being conservative, I wanted to look at the top 5 or 6 diamond certification bodies, right? So, and another thing too, is it says that it was concluded after 14 months of validation process between Origyn and the United States. So that would leave one to assume that this diamond certification body, which is one of the largest in the world, is in the United States, right? So I wanted to start looking into diamond certification bodies. Now, first, let's just differentiate one thing from another. You have the diamond suppliers, the De Beers, Alrosa, Debswana, and when I classify them as suppliers, but different diamond companies, they do different parts of the diamond life cycle. Some of these companies do the mining, they do the polishing, they do the selling, they do everything. Some only do portions of the life cycle. Some maybe just do mining or whatever it is. But I just listed them as diamond suppliers. So you have, and one of the biggest ones is De Beers. And then you have the certification bodies, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about what a certification body is and the general value that they offer to these diamond companies and to just people who buy diamonds themselves. So you have GIA, IGI, AGS, EGL, and GSI. And there's a couple others as well, which I'll go over that here in a second. But more or less, these different certification bodies grade the diamonds. All right. And so if your diamond is certified by one of these certification bodies, it's going to carry a higher value than a diamond that looks almost identical, but is not certified by one of these certification bodies. All right. Because they're, I guess, the third party laboratory that looks into these diamonds to verify authenticity, right? And to more or less grade the diamond. So that's what their role is. And I would argue that if you're looking at partnerships for this specific use case, partnering with one of the certification bodies is probably just as significant, if not more significant, than partnering with one of the diamond companies themselves. Because just one of these certification bodies could work with numerous different diamond companies. Like, for example, De Beers works with GIA for certain diamonds and certain cuts. So having a partnership here with one of the certification bodies is a very big deal. All right. So let's just talk a little bit about diamond certification. This is a system created by GIA to evaluate the quality of a diamond based on the 4 C's: carat, color, clarity, and cut. Diamond certification is also referred to as diamond grading, and it is highly recommended that couples only buy certified diamonds. All right, so that's what these entities do, and a lot of these entities are nonprofits. For example, GIA is a nonprofit. And while if you do your research on this, you'll find that as long as your diamond is certified by one of the main certification bodies, then in a general sense, that's a good thing. However, each certification, not all certifications are equal in this context. All right. So a certification from GIA, for example, would carry more weight than a certification from almost any other certification body. All right. From everything that I've read, they're really the gold standard in the industry. And I would say that IGI is also up there as well from everything that I've looked into. And that doesn't mean that the certifications that come with these other certification bodies don't matter at all and don't carry any weight. It's just, there's different degrees of, I guess, competency and how thorough they are when they're looking into these diamonds. All right. And so from everything that I've seen, it looks like GIA is the main gold standard company or nonprofit to certify diamonds. And when you look up diamond certification, like if you just Google search, what is diamond certification? This is what's going to come up. So it looks like they kind of helped create diamond certification in general. All right. And GIA is in the United States. Now, GIA is in the United States. American Gem Society is in the United States, and GSI is in the United States. IGI is in, I believe, Europe, overseas. EGL overseas. HRD is overseas. And then I think there's a few that are in the United States, including GIA and American Gem Society. So assuming the article was 100% accurate, and assuming this is one of the 3 world leaders, even though I'll expand the scope here and say 5 or 6 world leaders, assuming this is accurate and assuming that I interpreted this accurately with them talking to some certification body in the United States, I wanted to narrow down who it might be. right? And so I narrowed it down to GIA, AGS, and GSI. Now, maybe there's some different certification body that they're referring to here. I'm just trying to use process of elimination. However, these other certification bodies that are headquartered elsewhere, they do have offices all over the world. All right, I was just looking at headquarters, right? Okay, so next part here is I did some research on the diamond industry about 8 or 9 months ago when I was looking into the precious metals industry using blockchain technology. And some of you will remember this. And so De Beers is really one of the largest diamond companies in the world, and pretty much from end to end. And I know because I looked up to see if De Beers uses GIA, right? And De Beers does use GIA for certain types of diamonds, certain cuts, certain carats. De Beers uses GIA, as I would imagine so many other diamond companies do as well. And I'm sure they use a variety, if I had to guess. But I knew that De Beers had rolled out this blockchain solution called Tracer because I looked into this a while ago. And it looks like that GIA will join Tracer. Now, this is a announcement that came out from April of this year. All right, so GIA will join Tracer, the world's only distributed diamond blockchain platform that starts at the source. GIA's participation in Tracer will see the world's leading diamond grading laboratory include an immutable record of the provenance of polished diamonds in its diamond grading reports for the first time as the industry continues to progress towards a unified approach for provenance assurance. All right, so as the industry continues to progress towards a unified approach for provenance assurance. This is important to understand because when you're looking at this, it wouldn't make but so much sense. Why would, if these certification bodies are going to use new technology to verify authenticity and to grade diamonds, how much sense does it make that they use different technology, certification body to certification body? Because you would have to imagine that if they were using different technology, they would have, the technology is going to have varying degrees of competency, right? I mean, it's if you're using different tech, like if GIA is using different tech than IGI, one just as a natural consequence to using different tech is probably going to be a little bit more accurate than the other, right? To varying degrees, but even if it's just slightly, it's not a unified approach, right? And so it would make sense. It would make sense that over time, these different certification bodies use the same general standard, right? Now, whether or not that happens, I don't know. I just wanted to make that point because they mentioned as the industry continues to progress towards a unified approach for provenance assurance. All right. So when I saw that GIA was joining De Beers with the Tracer blockchain solution, and I looked into a few other things, it just kind of seemed like that if this article is true, and if they are in fact already working with or partnered with or planning on partnering with one of the 3 world leaders for diamond certification, and if they were talking to them in the United States, it would make a lot of sense to me why it would be GIA. All right. Now, that would just be my default assumption based on all this information. I have no idea whether or not that's the case, but that would just be my default assumption based on everything that I've been over up until this point. Now, pause. This was the end of the video last night. I had prepped this video. All the slides were ready. I had shut my computer and I was laying down. And for whatever reason, I just kept looking into this. And because, I had tried to search Origyn's name with a Y and these different certification bodies just to see if I could find anything on the internet, and I couldn't really find anything, right? The only thing I would find would be articles with Origyn with an I and these different certification bodies talking about, being able to trace the origin of a diamond. But I couldn't find anything with Origyn with a Y as the company and these different certification bodies. And so for whatever reason, late last night, I went on Origyn's LinkedIn page, And I just started scrolling down to see if I had missed anything over the last 6 to 12 months, right? And so I just kept scrolling and scrolling for whatever reason. And then I came across this from about 11 months ago. It says, don't be fooled by counterfeit luxury goods. And then it links a video from an event called the ReLuxury Event, right? And I believe this was in Switzerland. But the different attendees, the Origyn Foundation was there, Hodinkee, Watchbox, eBay, Richard Mille, and GIA to discuss counterfeiting in the luxury industry at today's ReLuxury Event. All right, so just real quick, one by one here. Hodinkee and Richard Mille, both luxury watch companies. I think Richard Mille is like one of the more high-end luxury watches. And I think that Hodinkee is a similar type company to Watchbox, okay? And Watchbox is already partnered with Origyn, and eBay, a representative from eBay was there as well. And I'm going to show you this video. But it looks like eBay has their own like luxury division, their own luxury section within their site in the marketplace that they offer. So they were a part of this as well. And the eBay was actually a co-founder of this event. Okay, they were a co-founder of the ReLuxury Event. And so as soon as I saw the letters GIA, I was like, oh man, how did I miss this? How did I miss this? And so I had to watch the video, right? But it says video unavailable, right? Playback on other websites has been disabled by the video owner. So then I was like, well, I'm going to try to find this on YouTube, right? And I did. And so this is actually on the ReLuxury YouTube page, right? This isn't on the Origyn YouTube page or the eBay YouTube. This is on the ReLuxury YouTube page, and it only has 101 subscribers. And so I actually watched probably 30 minutes or so of this, but this is the guy from Hodinkee. This is the guy from eBay. He's the general manager of luxury at eBay, and he was a founding partner of ReLuxury, of this event. And then you have the gentleman from Watchbox. And then this is the guy from GIA. He's the director of corporate communications. And then you have the CEO of Richard Mille here. And I probably butchered this name, but I mean, these are very high-end watches if you want to go look these up on your own. And then you had Vincent Perriard, the co-founder of Origyn, and they're all right here talking about authenticity and trying to eliminate counterfeits from the marketplace and how big of a problem this is, and biometry. And it was actually it's an interesting video to watch. It's tragic that only 500 people watched this video, but this was a very interesting video to watch. So when I look at this, well, actually, I don't even really need to speculate. This is going to play out however it's going to play out. Maybe Origyn is already working with GIA, maybe they're not. But even if it's some other certification body outside of GIA, it's still a huge deal. Now, if it's GIA, GIA is more or less the gold standard. So an even bigger deal if it's GIA. And there is some reason to believe that there may be something going on here with GIA. All right, this is the gentleman from GIA. And again, he is the director of corporate communication. And this is the gentleman from Origyn. All right. So, and even just pause on that really quick. The fact that the guy from this luxury watch company was here, also the gentleman from eBay, also the gentleman from Hodinkee, and you know, the chief trading officer at Watchbox was there, and Watchbox is already using Origyn. So there's a lot here, and I am not suggesting that this means anything definitively. They said that the announcement is not yet official. So I am not sitting here suggesting that there's anything conclusive with what I found here. I just wanted to take you through my entire progression. And I know that a couple people had asked questions on this post. And so I wanted to try to provide as much information as I could, because I thought the different things that I found were very, very interesting, right? And I have no idea why I randomly went on Origyn's LinkedIn page last night. Again, this was the end of the video. Keep in mind, it says in here that the industry wants to progress towards a unified approach to provenance assurance. And I'm not sitting here suggesting that Origyn's going to be used by all of these certification bodies. You know, I can see why that would happen over a longer time frame, like 10, 15 years. Maybe on a shorter time frame. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me why they would use different technology, because if they use different technology, it's going to be, they're not going to be equal, right? I mean, even if it's just slightly, like if there's one technology catches certain things about a particular diamond and another technology doesn't, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense why they would use different technology, certification body to certification body. But I guess we're going to have to wait to see how all this plays out. But regardless, if they are, the main takeaway here is, if they are in fact partnered with one of the largest diamond certification bodies, if that is true, then this is a very, very, very big deal. And it doesn't matter which one that they're partnered with. It would be a big deal regardless. As long as it's one of the larger diamond certification bodies, it is a very big deal, even if it's not GIA. But even if it's not GIA, it looks like Origyn is already has good relationships in that department, at least to what this highlighted right here. Okay, so that's the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Again, I'm not saying that this means anything conclusively. I just thought that there was a lot here, and I thought that many of you would be interested in going over a lot of this information. All right, so that's all I have for this video. If I got anything wrong, let me know in the comment section below. If you have anything that you would like to add, if I missed anything, let me know in the comment section below. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Nothing's ever a sure thing. Do your own research, and that's it. Take care. Have a good day. I'll see you in the next video.